How is this charity? What's charity? Oh, right. What was the 34%? They were like, was Ian getting 34% of the charity, which is like what? Of like the charity event? Like what exactly what that was? I saw that on Twitter, so I wonder if he's gonna talk about he's
So
gonna talk
with
about it,
the
but
Creator
if
Clash
we
event,
like
they were
clears it
going
up.
to take and pocket 34%. No wonder this fucking thing had problems. 34% amount of money. That's crazy. So there's a lot of people that are wondering, where did the money go at all? idubbz actually made a statement about this himself, apologizing. And he says, I want to clear some things up now that Nisa and I are no longer part of Creator Clash. When I announced Creator Clash 3 and its new business model, the communication wasn't clear. Looking back on my video and the current reaction, it's obvious it was too vague. It remains true that I earned the fight purse for Creator Clash 1, of course, but we did not profit at all from Creator Clash 2. After Creator Clash 2 failed to raise any money from the charity we knew, it at the time was a different business model. We restructured it so the funds for our charity partner would be raised on Tiltify separate from the actual event. We then decided for this year we would take a profit share from the for-profit side of the event should the for-profit side of the event succeed. So this is a very important component that a lot of people need to understand about charity events, is that the majority of these charity events are not completely charity events.
Well,
and
yeah.
a lot of the people,
That's
like
even
like bands that play at charity shows to like raise money for cancer, a lot of them end up getting paid by brands by doing that. So and that's not even really a bad thing, but it's something that's like really important to keep in mind, because
I mean, isn't that common sense? Like people have to get paid for the job they're gonna do for the charity. Like, Games Done Quick, they get paid for their labor because they do it for like 24/7. Of course, they gotta get paid for that, you know. But majority of the money goes towards charity. Like that's like the whole idea. It's like, where the fudge is the 34%? I understand you gotta get some of your cut, but 34%, bruh, what?
some people view charity as this like kind of universal good thing, and that's not exactly what's happening in this circumstance. They still got to eat. Yeah, you've got to eat as well, of course. But the thing is, 34%
is weird.
An insane piece.
That's
like,
weird.
Think about this, right? You have probably over 100 people working on this event. And that's the pizza, right? The pizza's got to be divided between 100 people and also the fighters and everybody else. And they're taking 30, I almost did it again, 34% of the pizza. That's a lot of fucking pizza, guys. That's crazy. That's an insane amount.
That's 2 slices,
and
bro.
So, yeah, slice it up. Yeah, that's a very, very huge amount. I feel sorry for any confusion Anissa and I caused. We know the event is in good hands now, and we wish it all success. So, basically, you spent all the money on room. Anissa and Hassan had sex in. Okay. So what percentage is actually going to charity from the actual charity?
Bro, you spent all the money on the room that Hassan and Anissa has sex. I was like, what is he talking about?
Event, no refunds.
Yeah, we just skip that part. Yeah, very smart to skip that part.
For Anissa.
That's just like, I don't know, that's true or not.
It makes him look really, really bad.
Oh, it makes him really bad.
Ludwig talked about this as well. I mean, he's been kind of moving away. Ludwig has moved away from drama, but you know, not really entirely, right? You can never leave.
Nah.
Here we go. Let's listen to it.
So, funding it through various sponsorships, but mostly ticket sales and.
So it was a scam? I feel like that has to be like the worst faith interpretation. I think if an event is successful and raises $1.3 million for charity on their first go around,
yeah,
their big plan isn't like, oh my God, and this next time we run it, we're going to make, you know, money for ourselves. Now
that was the plan though, right? Because didn't they say that?
We've raised $1.3 million for charity. Now we get to make some money.
You probably didn't see the.
You would just take the 1.3 million.
No.
Well, to be fair, you probably didn't see what Ian said. So.
Well, because it was there were 2 separate funds, right? And so, like, the fund that they make for profit and the fund that they raise for charity, these are separate funds, and Ian even confirmed that. So I'm not even sure really where this is coming from.
The first go around.
Well, I would say I don't think Ludwig saw the update or what Ian wrote.
1.3 mil is a lot of money, bro. That's hella bread.
Not really, not for a big event like that. I mean, whenever you have a huge event like that and you have 100 people on payroll and you have tons of creators, only
This is why Ludwig no longer talks about this stuff, by the way. Okay? This is why he no longer talks about, like, I just literally went on Twitter because I was looking for something. And right here. Send the black calls out loaded for not going after Ethan Klein for doing a charity event Classic 3. Ethan is the only person who gets a pass. Feel this, like, see, this is what I mean. This is why Ludwig does not talks about this stuff anymore. It's because, oh, you talk about this, but why are you talking about that? Why are you talking about this, but you don't? It's so fucking annoying, dude. It's so annoying. That's why he stopped Mogul Mail. Bro, here's a reality check. Bitch, people could be biased.
making $1.3 million isn't enough money. Like, you could have done 50 other things that would have made way more money than that. I mean, honestly, like, that's the truth. And anybody who knows business knows that. I mean, that's it. Do you think charities should be audited more frequently? Well, that's not what's happening, right? It's not about the charity. It's about the way that they handled the event and the way it was portrayed.
So I feel like you're just not, if you're looking at it in a vacuum, yeah, I think you could call that a scam.
Okay.
But you're ignoring the context of the first one that was hella successful.
Well, but isn't this also ignoring the context of the second one that was hella unsuccessful? So if the second one was hella unsuccessful and then, like, well, and here's also another big question, right? Is that why is it that you're doing a third one if the second one didn't make any money? Well, because, like, I don't understand that. How does that happen? How does that work? So, like, if you're not making any money, what the fuck? Why would you even do it again? Let me go back. I'll listen to another part of this, too. He talked about it a little bit more.
Running right now.
Is money paid not towards charity until event costs are paid? Yeah, but presumably. Because where else is the money coming from? And I guess, do you guys consider that a scam?
Yes. It's misleading. If you tell people that their money is going towards a charity, you should have a separate fund where money is raised from a charity.
By the way, guys, someone's gonna bring up Asmongold taking charity money, like a charity paid him to do a charity event or something like that. I believe it's still on law, or like, I believe it's still like in court, whatever. But I'm pretty sure someone's gonna bring it up. I'm pretty sure.
That is separate from the event costs. And if the event doesn't make money and you take it out of the charity, and it goes into what really matters, I think, in this conversation is the idea of consent. And consent is something that a lot of people, especially in business, don't really fully understand. I'm not saying Ludwig doesn't understand it, but I'm just saying this is my frame of reference and this is how I understand it, is that when a person spends money on an event that is advertised as it being for charity, they would assume that at least a good portion of that money would go towards the charity. And if that's not happening, then these people are going to be misled, and there's going to be a lot of bad faith that's going on. I don't see how anybody doesn't understand that. More than half, yes, obviously. And so, like, most of it. And so if people put all of their money towards charity, or they buy tickets and they support an event because they say, and this is all.
Oh, by the way, yeah, all this could be avoided if you're just upfront with what they do with the money. Hey, by the way, guys, a portion of this is going towards expenses. Like, just say that, you're fine.
Also true as well with
because
the other
it makes
boxers,
sense,
right? Even Alana talked about this yesterday. Is that if you're supporting an event and you're participating in an event because you want to have the money to go for charity, but then all of the money just goes for paying the operating expenses, well, then you effectively took all of these people's time and you misused it because you didn't allocate the money in a way that they thought that their time was being spent allocating the money towards. So, like, yeah, I actually really think it's that simple. Like, if people are buying something and they think their money is going to something, and then it doesn't at least mostly go to that, I think that a lot of people understand that every charity does not operate at a 100% loss, right? Like, many of them have operating expenses, there's administration expenses, and there's a spectrum of this, right? And some of it is good, some of it is bad, but you're going to need to have at least some of it. So when I hear people talking about this, ultimately, you have a situation where people are spending money on something and their money isn't going where they think that it's going. And here's another even more important question, and this goes back to the idea of consent, is that if they had known that their money would not go to these charities and it would go completely to paying off the event first, would they have bought the tickets?
Would they have?
And
Yeah.
the question really isn't on an individual level, but on a mass level. Is that actually something that would happen? I think less people would buy tickets. And can we agree that less people would buy tickets if they knew that, you know, there's a probability or a possibility that none of the money will go to charity, right? A chunk would not. And so again, so basically now we've
warning the people that it's a possibility.
The foundation that people are buying tickets on a false premise that if it was communicated in a way that was properly explained would have not made a purchase. So based off of that, you have now told a person that's giving you money that they're going to get something that they're not going to get.
Is that me or you?
That's a problem. That's a big problem. And it's literally that.
You know what's crazy? All that could have been avoided just up front with the money goes. Hey, think of, oh wait, sorry. I'm not sorry guys. I went full screen for some reason. I went back. Lil Mama 27. I swear I've seen that name before. Thank you for the follow. How you doing? Right now working on cloud. Sorry. I've been painting this whole time. All right. I don't know for how long I've been on full screen. God damn it. Sorry guys.
That's simple. So fraud, it's not see like
No, it's not
like,
fraud.
I agree with Ludwig. This isn't fraud. This isn't I can take you to court for this. This is mismanagement and just shitty. It's not fraud. It's just shitty.
Yeah.
It's unethical. Yeah. And it's not even unethical. It's just it's misleading. You could say maybe unethical, but that's it. You really do have to look at the fine print. The fine print doesn't matter to me because the reason why it's in the fine print is because they don't want people to read it. That's why it's so small. So if your general message communicates one idea and the fine print contextualizes that idea and diminishes it, you are actively, again, working to mislead people. And that's how I base all of my decisions off of. Are you acting in good faith? And if a person had full understanding of the nature of this agreement, would they have still spent the money? And if the answer is no, then you are not acting in good faith.
Like it's legal but unethical.
I feel like this is so simple.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Duh. Yes, of course. It's fine. Yes. Okay, anyway, let's move on.
Where's the money coming from?
Like, here's an example. It's way off this, by the way. For example, I asked, like, out of randomness, because I was extremely hungry, but I was, like, broke as fuck, right? I was like, hey, yo, can someone send me $10 to buy Jack in the Box? Someone did. And guess what I did? I sent a picture of me actually showcasing I bought Jack in the Box. You know? Because I was really grateful. Because again, it was late at night. I was working and I was broke as fuck because like I had to like do all this kind of stuff. And I just asked, right? And I'll prove it. There it is right here. Wait, hold up. There it is. Here is me proving that I bought the Jack in the Box. I was upfront with what I said, right? Well, I was front with the tip I was gonna get. I bought Jack in the Box. And so I think like majority of people won't be as angry with you or like make a big deal if you're just upfront what you're saying, what the event was. Hey, this boxing event is for charity. Percentage of it will go towards the fighters, like the expenses, stuff like that, and also to for the event for future shows to make it bigger, better, etc. And then the charity. So it's like it'll be split into 4 different things. I'm just saying that right now, on top of my head. Now, if more people know about that, it could have been like, all right, cool, that's fine. We understand, we get it. Or okay, yeah, I don't want to buy tickets. I don't feel comfortable doing that. And so it is what it is. So like the biggest problem is like they weren't upfront with their showcasing with their event. They really felt like they're just like scamming. It felt like a scam. It's not a scam, but it felt like a scam because they're not being upfront with a lot of different things, or they're being more secretive, I guess you could say.
And I guess, do you guys consider that a scam?
Yes.
Because to me, that makes sense.
I think an average person would consider that a scam. Is it a scam in terms of like money, right? Is it a legal scam? Should somebody go to jail for this? I don't think anybody needs to go to jail for this, but yes, I think it is. People would perceive it as a scam.
But should operate. Now, obviously, messaging matters. Like if you have tickets and you say all proceeds go to charity, and then it's actually like, well, they go to charity after costs. Like that has to be clear when you purchase.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. So then you agree? Yeah. Exactly.
I think people are huge. What's the word, man? Aggrandize. What's the word when people are like fake higher than thou? It's not. I feel like people get real bad faith or virtue signally when it comes to charity stuff. Yeah, maybe grandstandy. I don't know the exact word, but I feel like when the word charity is hit, people are like, heavens, and everyone acts like every act of charity needs to be some higher than thou act that is selfless. And maybe I'm cynical, but I think that's dumb. And I think charities also understand that that's dumb. And most incredibly successful charities understand that it's a business and things need to be able to operate not just one time, but consistently.
Yeah, but the problem is that if you're a business, here's the thing, right? Is that if your charity is a business first and a charity second, and people find out about that, don't be surprised when less people want to donate. And the issue is that their business model wasn't effective. And so basically they had an ineffective business model. And then because of their ineffective business model, they decided to put in a clause that allowed them to keep making money, even if their business model didn't deliver in the way that it was supposed to, because that's what happened last time. So they basically knew that the event might not make money because that's what happened in Creator Clash 2. And so they locked in and secured money for themselves for Creator Clash 3. And the reason why it's problematic is because nobody knew this was going to happen. Nobody knew anything about this. Part of being tax exempt is that your primary purpose is to alleviate the government in some way. So the primary purpose becomes business, you lose tax exempt status. Yeah.
Many times. And the only way to do that is if it doesn't burn a bunch of money along the way. So if you're doing an annual event, but you lose $100,000 doing it, even if you raise $50 million for charity, you can't do that forever because you're losing money. Money has to come from somewhere. And
change the business model. Change the business model and be upfront with the people that are spending the money. Like, I see what he's saying. I understand what he's saying. But at the same time, the problem is the proportion and the ratio. I think if you raised $50 million and you took $100,000 to pay for the event, nobody would care because proportionally, that's like
majority of it is going towards charity.
0.002%.
Yeah, majority of the money is going towards charity.
Nothing. So the issue isn't necessarily that amount of money. It's the fact that you're doing it and people don't know that, and it's the proportion of the money that's being spent and then reallocated. So, for example, there are a lot of charities that are able to reallocate money in an effective way. And, like, there's a big difference between reallocating 95% of the money and 35% of the money. And in general, like, here, let me ask you guys a question. If you knew that you were donating to a charity and the event was going to take 35% of the proceeds and give it to charity, how many of you guys would donate to that? And then how many would you donate to one that was giving 85%, let's say, or 75%? People generally, and by the way, this is so true that there is a website, and there are multiple websites, charity percentage administration website. Let me see if I can just get this right. Charity Navigator. And so there's multiple websites about this. Nonprofit data for donors, charities and nonprofits, charity ratings. And so a lot of these here, and, Discovery Charity List, cost-effective organizations. This
really?
Is
I didn't know the list existed.
Basically, everybody seems to understand. So USAID, well, no, obviously, like, USAID is part of that. I mean, sure. But, like, in general, people understand operation costs. When you actually try to turn a charity into a profit event, it's highly contentious. And that's also another thing, is that whenever you're looking at a profit share, that is a very different component that whenever you're talking about just making the costs back. I think that people understand even making
Bro,
your costs
all this
back,
came out
but
all
not an
because he called
additional
out that
profit
guy.
share on
What's
top
his
of that.
name? Ethan?
People I don't think realize
Yeah.
is sometimes that gets a little dirty. Like if you look, I've been offered, dude. I've been offered from charities. They'll offer you like 20K. They'll pay you to run an event in exchange to raise money, hoping to hit an expectation of return.
Yes.
Yeah,
Of
Asmongold
course, and I've
did
done
that.
that too.
Yeah,
And
there you
there's
go.
nothing wrong with that. There's not a problem with that. It's just it should be communicated and explained clearly to the person who's donating. That's all there is to it. Yeah. It's different. No, and that's the thing. We did that with soft giving. Sure. Absolutely.
But he
that
was never upfront
communicated,
with it.
It was established, and it was explained.
No, it wasn't.
And so there's not an issue
No,
there because
he's
the money
lying.
is being explained in a way. and
No,
is being
no, no,
given
I don't
in a
remember.
way That the
Is
person
that-
who's
you-
giving it
you only came out with that when the
understands
lawsuit
what they're
came out,
getting. It's being
no?
transparent. Exactly. The problem is not that you're doing it in any one way. It's about you're being transparent.
I swear, I feel like you never
yeah,
talked about
I
it
did see
until the
34% of
the lawsuit
money.
came out.
Again, I feel like this is just going to keep getting worse for them. And how much did you bag? None, actually. It was an OTK thing, and so I didn't make any money off of any of it.
Oh no,
And
no,
even
it
the money
was,
that I
it was
personally-
OTK.
So
Yeah,
whenever I
yeah,
did
yeah.
the charity events, right?
Yeah, it
these
was
were things
OTK,
that were in
yeah,
collaboration
yeah.
with Soft
Yeah,
Game,
that's
and they
okay,
basically,
yeah.
So a lot of companies, and this is generally like what happens, right? Is that what companies do is that they set up charity events because it makes the company look good, right? Companies
yeah,
think that
good
donating to
PR.
a charity will make them look good, and to be fair, I think they're right. It does. So we had Progressive, and I think we had like another car insurance place that was sponsoring it. So the car insurance sponsor pays for the content creator to raise money for the charity. Now, there were some weird issues with soft giving, and honestly, there was a guy that put out a report about it. I think his name was Jacob Wolf. A lot of what he said was true, and honestly, you know, there's a reason why we don't work with them anymore. I can't say any more about that because they were very litigious about it. If that company ever dissolves and they no longer exist anymore, I will tell the entire story about it. But they were, I'm just going to say, fuck it. They were deceptive. They were deceptive. And if I
He's
had
like,
known
fuck
that,
it.
we would have never engaged with it. I'll say that right now. It was deceptive. I didn't understand what was happening, and that's what it was. And so, scamming practices.
That's what it was,
and
okay.
I couldn't. Jacob reached out to me whenever the article was written, and I was still involved with OTK at the time, and so I couldn't speak about it with him. But
No, I could.
it made me very uncomfortable. But anyway, and so yeah, did you just say that? Yeah, I did. I mean, that's the truth. That's the truth of what happened. But the reality also is that a brand is paying for a certain amount of money as well. It's messed up. No, it was. And again, like the guys, I don't want to look. As I said, I really try my best to not get sued. And so if the company that they were operating as ever fully dissolves, I will tell the entire story. I will give everything. And the funny thing is that if like for the events that we did, the ironic thing, actually, I can say this. Everybody actually got what they wanted, and they got what they put their, oh, fuck, Jesus. I'm trying to say it in the right way. Oh man, stop talking, don't. Be careful. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the right way to do it, bro, don't. I mean, if they sue me, I'll stream the trial. Okay, how about that? I promise. If I get sued, I'll stream the trial.
I'll
So,
totally react to that. I mean, he has the money for it.
The way that our deal was authentic and accurate, but it was other deals that were problematic as well. And so, and that's the only thing that I'm going to say. And so the money that you guys spent actually did go in the right place, but there was a second thing that happened that was separate from us that was kind of another issue. And so anyway, have it? Yeah, clearly. And anyway, as long as you did your part with good intention, you're good. Yeah, exactly, right? And so like having a sponsor for a charity event is totally fine. That my point is that having a sponsor for a charity event is totally fine. Like I did this before, and like I did donate whenever I donated my own money for like the Ukraine thing or the Games for Love thing. That came out of my personal account. Like I spent money And ultimately, I never got that money back, right? I never got paid for these events. I never had any of that happen. This was all for the org, right? And so, like, I spent that money. That was my own money. And, you know, that's really about it. Yeah, lots of chat donated. I know I did. So you won't do charity anymore? I would do charity, but I would do a charity event, but I think this is the way that I would look at it, is that I don't think that I would ever do another paid charity event unless I was able to understand every single nuance of it. And that would require me to have access to contracts between parties that I'm not a part of. And I don't think that would ever happen. So in general, like, I would be fine participating in something like that because, like, who cares? But I wouldn't want to engage myself directly in it. Does that make sense? Yeah, due diligence next time? Yeah, exactly, right? And so, anyway, so basically never. Well, I would work directly with a charity, and I would make sure all the money went directly to that website in a very specific sense. I would not try to work through a third party or do anything else similar to that unless it was an established third party that had all of their rules that were extremely transparent. Like, I'll just say that, right? And again, I don't want to get into specifics. I don't want to get into any more of that. But now that I'm not involved with the org anymore, and, you know, this is kind of water under the bridge, just... It is what it is. Let's just say that.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
Let's move on. Yeah. And so ranting time. Yes, ranting time is over. Okay. And so that's it. The only way to learn. Yeah, exactly. Don't get sued, bro. I know it is what it is. And so anyway, it's easier to contact a charity directly to help organize the event. Yeah. And that's what I would do myself. But, and I do think that also in the same way that whenever that soft giving article came out, a lot of people were really angry at us and angry at the other people who were involved because they didn't understand what was happening. I think, again, this is the same thing as well, because we didn't understand it, but also they did. That, like, the Creator Clash, I mean, like, do you think they didn't know they were making 34% profit off of this? Of course they did, because they weren't doing it through a third party. It was their own event. And so that's the reason why people feel like they were deceived and misled. So, yeah, that's it. Honestly, I think you're most honest streamer on the, unironically, I think you're most honest streamer on the platform. I try to be, right? The only times that I lie and I don't fully tell the truth are times where it would negatively affect another person or it would hurt somebody. Because other than that, I do try to tell pretty much exactly what happened and be as honest as possible with people and just let them know, like, yeah, this is what it was.
Well, there you go. Sorry again, I wasn't talking too much. I'm just trying to fix the ear. Because I messed up the ear, guys. So again, I'm just trying to finish this, guys. I'm just really just trying to finish this. I'm freaking hungry right now too. Probably gonna eat something.
So you got the usual suspects.
Seattle's.
Oh, I gotta watch that Seattle video. We'll watch that one before. Yeah, we'll finish that. But yeah, it's just like it's just so weird. All they had to do is just be transparent. You know, like, oh, part of the money goes towards this, so we could do bigger events in the future. You know what I mean? 30% for yourself and giving each fighter 1.1% each is insane for some person who claimed to be socialist. Like, I don't know what's going on, dude. Like, Ludwig saying so stupid. Well, they gave the some money to charity,
with
so
the
it's not a
Creator
scam.
Clash event, they were
No. What Ludwig says is pretty much technically true. It's just the way, like, the percentage of it is the bad thing. So it's pretty much Ludwig said, like, literally says, well, they give some money to charity, so it's not a scam. So it's not a scam. It's just unethical how much they were keeping. What they were keeping pretty much. No, that's like what he said is true. Well, they gave some money to charity, so it's not a scam. A scam would have been like if they gave 0% to charity. You know what I mean? The unethical part was like how much they lied, how much they gave to charity, like percentage wise. That's the part right there. But it's not a scam. It wasn't illegal for them to do that. it was just unethical to do that. That's the difference. So Ludwig is correct. I don't understand how people don't understand that.